All right, Jets are in their 22 personnel grouping, and this is something that they do every once in a while to try to take a shot play. They also run out of this, so it's not a bad grouping for them, although they just don't have the horses to run it. You need offensive line for this. Dolphins respond in kind with their 52 front, or a quasi eagle front. It's not a bear front, but quasi eagle front, because they have their zero right here, and Raekwon, defensive tackle, edge player, and Duke is reading B gap, A gap. And since this is the field side, David Long is reading B gap, A gap, and the flat. Safeties are force players, support. If they release these guys, you have man-to-man, man-to-man. The linebackers have the backs. So, what does this do to this type of personnel grouping? 22. Well, first of all, Miami's just so good in their 52 personnel grouping. How do you block these guys? Because look, if this is the field side, so naturally Raekwon Davis is going to shade right here on the A gap. If he occupies this man and this man, it's a numbers game, because then you're going to have one-on-one with your defensive tackles, and Zach Sealer and Kristen Wilkins win one-on-one battles with damn near everybody. And you still have to account for the edge players. So this is about recognition and coming off of the ball. We're going to run this, and we're going to run it in slow motion so you could see how this transpires. Fumble. Pick it up, Zach. Score. Well, to the 1 yard line. Not bad. Now I'm going to show you the front and how it's set up. As you can see, there was already a shift. And what you have right here, if it was an eagle front, you'd have Raekwon as a direct zero, and you have your tackles on the guards, right? But they're shading because this is the field side. David Long is out here. Kohu's now the force player, and he also has the exterior tight end one-on-one. Now let's clean this up. So how does this work now? Well, Duke is reading both A gaps and this B gap. David Long is reading the flat and this B gap. And if somebody releases, that's in his responsibility. This is David Long playing the Jerome Baker role. Okay, so when you have Raekwon Davis occupy two players right here, once again, you have one-on-one, and you still have the edge players if you bring them. So this 52 personnel grouping is just so tough to run against, and when they release and when they come on the pass rush, they're nearly impossible to stop. And we're running it slow so you could see how the play develops. There's a play action. They're coming up field. And it's 4 as they went into the flat. AVG leaves into the flat. And that play is made by Raekwon Davis. And we're going to rewind it again. I want you to watch Raekwon. As Raekwon gets on the inside of where the center is, the center, for whatever reason, vacates, and Wilkins loops. Once Wilkins loops, it's over. Even Zach Sealer defeated his block. And Bradley Chubb comes to clean it up. And then you pick it up. Now, Dolphins hit bingo here on this play call. They get confirmed man, and not only is it confirmed man, it's press man, and they're running their double slants, which is a concept that every NFL team has. Now, Tua understands that it's man, and he knows that he has a ton of man beaters already. This is a very good route combination for this set, by the way. So he's going to put Achane in motion, which is going to cause some type of conflict here because that's going to stretch them very, very thin. And it's just a perfect play call. Expecting man on third down, something that the Jets do. And trust me, this is something that was put in on Tuesday morning. They know the Jets like to play a lot of man on third down, and they're like, you know what? We get 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. We got this play that I know we can get. It's going to stretch the defense. And as far as protection, you don't really need too much protection because we're throwing hot since it's man. And it's perfectly set up by just the formation. We're going to see what happens to the defense here as Achane moves in motion. Tua sends him in motion. And if we didn't know before, now we do know. Okay. If this is a first down call and they manage to get man, they could have a wheel route here for Achane. As it turns out, a little quick out, man beater. Easy first down. And we're going to see the protection now. It's really well blocked. There's one key element to this, and you're going to see it right away. You're going to want to overset because you cannot have the edge rusher, and we're going to bring it back. As you can see, you cannot have the edge rusher come in on this, so you want to have your tackle overset to make sure the quarterback has a clean pocket to throw it out of. So it makes perfect sense to double inside and then overset outside for this. So this is very well done. By the way, look at Bryce Huff in jail over here. Very, very, very nice. All right, here comes a shot play. And the Jets are in some type of quarters coverage. And what the Dolphins are going to do right here is they're going to run Chosen, a delayed crosser, and there's some type of double move by Jalen Waddle. They want to time this up almost to the letter. The double move has to be made once Robbie Chosen is coming across because you want to occupy this safety just enough to get Waddle past DJ Reed on the shot play because you are keeping in all of these guys. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus you have the cutoff. That's 7. And you're putting 3 out. You have the outlet right here in case this is well covered, which it should have been. But the attention paid just for that split second to Robbie Chosen allows Waddle to complete his double move and just get deep, and Tua just lays it out there for him. Let's clean this up and run it. And there you see Ingold coming up for the cutoff. Armstead has his man in jail. And as you can see, as the crosser is happening, as Robbie Chosen is running this deep crosser, look what's happening to the safety. He's reacting to it. And what's kind of funny about this is that the Jets have a wasted safety who is essentially off the hash for no reason whatsoever. And Sauce Gardner's just pointing at something over here. I don't know what he's pointing at. But the Jets sure do have the integrity of their quarters coverage. They pay so much attention here. They trust DJ Reed that the double move is being completed. Tua sees it, and Tua's like, this is free money. We will just take it. Safety's nowhere to be found. Let's look at the protection. Keeping 7 in. And they have it well blocked. And we're running it. As you can see, Tua just looked off the crosser. He knows the safety bit on it. And now he's going deep. Look at this pocket. Armstead has his man in jail. Double. Double. He's out. Perfect ball. Touchdown. All right, this is a real slick route combination by the Dolphins here. And I'll draw it up for you. They're going to bring in Waddle in motion. They're going to have Cedric running some type of fade, which should occupy the safety. Okay, this is Sauce Gardner. They're just going to keep 5 in. They have the outlet. They always have safety valve with Achan here. So you're not completely exposed on this route. You're going to have the hook. And then you're going to have this mesh concept right here, where Barrios is going to hug it and go on the wheel. He actually gets his man, by the way. While Waddle is going to run all of this around, going to set right here, and he's going to dig around the hook. And theoretically, what this is supposed to do is you have the hook, which is going to occupy 1 defender. Remember, Waddle's going to bring 1 guy with him. So it's going to occupy 1 defender, the hook. The wheel is going to get this guy to try to undercut it and trail. And that wheel should hold the safety, which creates space right around here for Tua to throw on the other side of the hook. I mean, of the hook that Julian Hill is running. So what is his cue? Well, it's pretty simple. Tua's going to see this hook right here, and he has a landmark. He has the hash and where the hook is, where the mesh is. And he's either reading for the wheel or the dig coming across. If there's space, he's going to the dig. If there's some congestion, he's going to go to the wheel. In my opinion, I think he has both. Here comes Waddle in motion. And he's going to set. By the way, this is a 5-man protection, so it's imperative that your tackles hold up, and they do. And there it is. Do you see the wheel? See how the wheel develops? See how the safety gave space? And Waddle is right there, wide open, on the other side of the hook. We're going to watch this from behind and look at the protection. Waddle's going to set. And by the way, this is a middle of the field open defense. So you go into the play knowing you could get this on the other side of that hook. So here's the snap. Quinn Williams rushes. Passes him off to Eichenberg. Eichenberg has him. And there's that space. Good tackle by DJ Reed, by the way. All right, you haven't seen cover 6 run as good as this. Okay. Jets have 3-by-1 formation. Dalvin Cook is in the backfield. Now, what you got to understand is that Duke Riley is essentially head up on Cook. He will follow him into the flat. They're running a twist up here and coming off the edge with a 4-man rush. Now, that's not of any consequence, but I want to show you what the coverage dictates here. And you're essentially in a quarters. So, each man has a quarter of the field, and you're dropping to the intermediate area. Now, what is Keterkohu doing here? This is not a split coverage, so what's going to happen here is that they're going to keep their integrity of this, and it's going to look something like this. We're going to clean it up because David Long is going to drop. Kohu's going to drop. And it's not box 6 because box 6 would have 3 underneath and 3 deep. That's not what they're doing. What you have is essentially this. Cover 6. Not box 6. It's cover 6, man under, which is a staple for this defense. And you're just protecting this right here. The sticks. You're trusting Duke Riley to have Dalvin Cook out in the flat. And if they release anybody, which is what quarterback has to be taken against this type of defense, if they release anybody into the flat, you just got to rally and tackle. You got plenty of space. I want you to watch the integrity of their coverage here and how good it looks post-snap. We're running. And I especially want you to watch David Long here. He's getting his drop, getting deep. Look at that. Look how good that looked. Saw it? Let's run it right back. Look how good that looks. Look at that. Is that great or what? And this is at the bottom of the drop. See it? Look how good that looks. Let's clean it up. Rush gets in. That's a sack. Bradley Chubb and company. Now we're going to see that twist up front. Nice celebration there by Andrew Van Ginkel. At this point in time, he already has his nose broken, by the way. But watch this twist right here. Look at this. Look at Sealer with Wilkins coming around. Wilkins comes in unblocked on that twist. Bradley Chubb just beats Mekhi Becton badly, and that's a sack. Now, this is some type of choice route, which I am not sure what the proper execution is on this, but Berrios is going to come in motion. Durham Smythe is going to run a go, which is interesting in and of itself. There's some really nice double move action right here by Cedric Wilson, and then he's also going to take his man deep. So evidently they want to create space here for what looks to me like is going to be a underneath or an over route, as some like to call it, for Jalen Waddle. Rushes in on Tua, and Tua throws it down the hash in between 2 underneath defenders. And Waddle catches it in between them, and then he does the rest. But I believe this was supposed to be some type of under route underneath these routes that was supposed to pop them open on this side of the hash. But the pressure comes in, and Tua delivers an absolute dime. We're going to watch it. Here comes Barrios in motion. He's running some type of quick out. He's just trying to move a safety out of there. And as you can see, let's stop it. They flex out, which means Sauce Gardner is off of his man. And I really do believe that what the route combination is calling for here is for one of two things. You're looking for the crosser as these guys clear out. And if that's not there, you're coming off to A-Chan, who's coming into the flat, right? So I want you to see what Tua sees. Rush is almost in on him. And he releases it early in between the two under guys, the two droppers. And that's a first down. And now we're going to see it from Tua's point of view to see what he sees. And this is just a quarterback perfectly in sync with his wide receiver. Puts him in motion. It's another middle of the field open defense. And Tua's dropping. See, Rush is almost in on him. But he knows there's a spot right there he could fit that ball in. The timing for the entire rock combination was just not there. So Tua throws it short, completion, great chemistry between Tua and Waddle. Now I love runs like these. I just do. Okay? And this is essentially power. They're going to have this man in motion. He's going to kick out. We're leading blocks up the field with Ingold leading. And what's going to happen here is that you are going to kick out, block down. Lamb is going to try to pick up his man one gap over, and you're going to release your center and your right guard. And then you're trying to run it right behind this convoy. Now let's clean all this up so then we could watch it from the end zone view. You could watch the play. I want you to watch this down block here by Cotton. Good block. That creates that crease. Great block by Robert Jones. Saw where he's ending up with Whitehead? That's a thing of beauty. We're going to draw it up from the end zone view. Show you what they're working with here. This is just so well executed. Cotton wants to wall off his man. And then you're going to have the kick out from Armstead as this guy is leading the block. And Lamb's going to hit a man one gap over. They're releasing center. The right guard, Mostert's running it right behind that entire convoy. Well orchestrated play. Perfectly executed. I want you to watch this again. And this is made possible by Cotton's block. He's essential on this. He gets Solomon Thomas, and let's stop it right there. Solomon Thomas is essentially gone. As you can see, walled off. Teron Armstead has his man kicked out, and now we're leading. As Eichenberg is releasing, and Robert Jones is releasing. Robert Jones picked off his man. You almost want these guys to actually move over. And if Robert Jones can reach Quincy Williams, that'd be nice, but man, it's just too much to ask. So he's just going to cut off the backside with Whitehead and makes him a non-entity in the play. We're going to finish running it. Look at this play. And it ends up that Mostert is making his cut off of Robert Jones's block downfield. Look at Chosen, by the way, doing some work on DJ Reed. Good blocking. Very nice. Now I want you to see this play by Calvin Munson. It's garbage time, and that's understood. This is 12 personnel, and Dolphins are in a very, very honest defense. It's essentially quarters, and it's the same base defense that they've run maybe 20 times in this game. So we're just going to run it, and then we're going to watch it from the end zone view so I can tell you about the run fits. Calvin Munson is right here. See, fires in the A gap, tackle, loss of 1 yard. And we're going to watch it now from the end zone view. We're going to wait for these guys to set. As you can see, it's pretty basic stuff here. So what is he reading? Well, in this instance, linebackers have a lot to look at. Calvin Munson's reading the B gap, and he's reading the A gap. Same for David Long. And as far as the flat, that's on your edge players who have to hold up the edge and then scrape for the flat. Okay? These are all force players. He has them one-on-one. And it's a force player coming down, force player coming down. If this is a run, if this is a pass, they're just keeping their integrity. They're coming with the pass rush. They're going to drop into zones. It's going to be some type of cover 6. We don't know it because they actually ran it. But I want you to see how Calvin Munson comes downhill. He reads the play correctly, sees the gap, and he's running right for it. Gets off of a block, makes the tackle. That's a loss of 1 yard. He's an excellent fill linebacker.